Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I wanna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Corsicana, Texas. What's up, Dallas Fort Worth? What's up, Houston, Texas? Welcome back to the show. We are the Burning Coals Podcast. Thank you. And we are your show hosts. I go by the name of Mr. Our Reactions. On the side of me, we got our guy, Bougie Weirdo. Give it up for Bougie Weirdo. Coming in shortly, we have gentleman Jamal. We also have coming in B-Love. Get up for B-Love. And also the first queen of the Burning Coals Podcast to go by the name of Educated Queen. Get up for EQ. Yes, indeed. So we are the Burning Coals Podcast. Here is where we have fire interviews. We have hot topics. We have burning questions, serious conversations, and we definitely say what needs to be said on this platform that we do, and that we bring you guys every Tuesday. So that being said, we say welcome and thank you for another episode and joining us for another episode of Burning Coals Podcast here on this beautiful Tuesday. We do have a comment section where we have two platforms. If you want to be able to put your comments into the comment section, you can definitely type it in, and we will definitely bring your comment onto the show, and we will read it onto the show. Now, if you feel froggy and you want to be able to come on to the show, you can definitely do that as well. We do have two streaming platforms that we do have available. We have a Facebook platform, and we also have a YouTube platform. You can definitely hit one of those. We'll bring you onto the show. You can definitely answer your question, ask your questions. If you don't agree with what we're talking about, you can definitely form your opinions about anything. Give a shout out. You can do whatever you need to do to put your point across, and we'll definitely be able to listen to it, and that hopefully the viewers will do the same thing as well. All right. So now that we got the rules out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and open up to the panel. Bougie Weirdo, how you feeling this afternoon, my friend? This is another Tuesday, man. Another beautiful Tuesday. How you feeling over there, my guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the words of EQ, we're above ground and not beneath, so it's a beautiful day. She'll be in later, but she ain't here right now, so I had to get that out there for her.
Yeah, she'll definitely be joining us, man. But hey, you know what, B Dub? Listen, man. Before we get into the topic of conversation, man, this is the NFL draft coming up.
Yes,
Is it
sir.
Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, man. So the draft is coming up. I've seen on social media a lot of people, pretty much excited about it. It's almost, the draft is almost like a whole nother holiday, for the NFL season, man.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. I just look at the draft, and I'm probably gonna be the party pooper about it, whatever, man. But I just look at the draft leading up to the draft in a whole nother form, man. Especially with the different subjects that we've been discussing on here about, you know, we linking the draft up to, how they used to do, slavery,
Mm-hmm.
during the slavery days, whatever, man. So, it just kind of, I don't want to knock the steam out of nobody's sails, whatever, man, and I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. But that's how I look at it, B Dub. Man, I just don't. I don't get excited about it anymore.
I mean, it
You
is
know
what it is. Cause
what?
like, well, I've said it a couple of different times. Like, I stopped watching the draft like a couple of years ago. I ain't gonna say years ago, but probably like maybe at least 5-6 years. I haven't watched the draft in at least 5 or 6 years because of that same reason. Like, I mean, I just peeped it. Like, you get tired of seeing the same old narrative.
Yeah.
The way they treat these young black athletes versus some of their counterparts. It's like because
Right.
the ones that come from regular families, maybe come from the suburbs, a 2-parent household, just a regular normal quote unquote American dream kind of life. They just shoot by those guys and don't want to talk to them. But then the ones that come from the ghetto, the single mother, and all this stuff, they want to put the spotlight on those guys and make it seem like, you know, it's so impossible or whatever. Like I don't know. It's just yeah. I just got tired of seeing it's like the same old narratives, like because it's pushing that stereotype that if you come from that type of background, is either sports or crime. And we know that everybody can't do sports.
Right.
So if I'm a young black kid in the hood and I'm only 4 foot tall, I can't hoop, and I ain't that fast, so I can't play football or run track, then what are my options? So I just think it perpetuates that stereotype, and then I think we mentioned it on the show before, the correlations between slavery, how they, the combine and all that. They want to see how tall you are, how much you can weigh. They want to see what your health is like and all this stuff, which is exactly what they used to do in the slave trade.
Yep.
Checking your teeth and checking a bone density and all this kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, it's you when you get older, it's kind of like you know better, you do better. And
Right.
I say all that, but obviously we still watch football.
Right. Right.
I haven't stopped watching football. It's just that part of it I'm not really into anymore. I do want to know what's going on with my team and who we selecting, but I just wait until it come up on the notification or whatever, and I just do it that way. I don't watch it live. I don't watch it at all actually.
I agree with everything you just said, B Dub. But I'm gonna also add to the issue that I have with this whole thing with the NFL and with these upcoming, the NFL draft, whatever. But they always paint that narrative, like you said, to the to the poor people or the people that don't have any money. Like we are providing you an opportunity to make a whole lot of money that you've never seen before. But you're making the NFL as the shield, as they call it. They are
Right.
making way more money off the athletes. You see what I'm saying? These guys, these youngsters that's coming into the league, they're making way more money off of these guys, and these guys are the ones who are putting up their health and everything up to try to
Mm-hmm.
entertain us when they play these different sports or whatever, man. So don't act like they try to make it one sided, and it's not one sided. It's a double coin here. We're making money, but you're making way more money off of us, and we're the ones who up here putting our health and our physical health, mental health, and everything online to try to, for you guys to be entertained and make money off of us, whatever. So don't make it one side, and I hate that.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
disgusting, huh?
No, I agree 100%. But it's on us too as a community. We got to get some type of unity at some point, and I'm always pushing this. We got to start pushing our kids into different things. Like you can't just let your kids just do whatever. You got to give them some kind of line, some kind of structure. And I think we need to start pushing them down the line of politics, um, health, medicine, law, like pushing them toward these other things, even if they are a good athlete. Okay, you're a good athlete, cool. Use it to your advantage. Use it to go get your college degree or whatever, so you can go be a lawyer. Because we need more representation in the courtrooms than we do on the football field. We need more, and plus that's something that everybody can do. If you normalize doctors, black doctors, lawyers, engineers, mechanics, all these different fields where we get taken advantage of that we don't have no representation in. That's what we need to be pushing our kids towards. And if they good in sports, if they just gifted like that, okay, cool. I'm not saying don't let them do sports, but have a higher purpose. Like, and I always look at the example of what's the name? Roll. Is Antra Roll? Played in the league for a couple of years.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah,
was
you're
like a
supposed to talk. Yeah,
neurosurgeon.
yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
He went to college, got his degree. Yeah, he went to the NFL, played for a few years, made him a few $1 million, and used that to, go back and further his education and become a doctor. We need more, more of those examples, because a thousand black people can go to college and become doctors. If 1,000 people try for the NFL, only most likely one or two gonna make it
Right.
or
Yeah.
get drafted. And out of the two that get drafted, only one probably played more than 3 years. So you're really not even making no money. Like you said, you're putting your body on the line. You're taking a lot of abuse. And if you don't make it past your rookie contract, if you don't get to that second contract, you ain't made no money.
Right. But you know what though, B Dub, man, my energy is like this, man. I'm for, with what I know now, whatever, man. I wish I had a trade, brother. Because when you got a trade, B Dub, can't nobody take that. Can't no. You could always You can always have something that you can fall back on a trade. Can't nobody take that from you. If you know how to put together, you know how to build a house, you know how to be a good
Mm-hmm.
electrician, you know how to be a good mechanic, you know how to anything like that or whatever, man. Because if this system happened, if this system that we live in, happened to collapse, and God forbid we have to, everything has to be reset. You still gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
find a way to, somebody gonna have to be a farmer. Somebody's gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
be, build it, be a chef, be able to build homes. You're gonna have to still have all that. You see what I'm saying? So, I think that it's important to have a trade, B Dub. You gotta have a trade, brother.
Absolutely, and that's that's
Because like
that's
I
what
said,
I'm saying. You know, like
you can't get, go ahead.
all of that. No, all of that. What you're saying. That's what I'm talking about. Like we need to push our kids and have them set up to go in certain different directions. And like I said, if they can want to do something extra on top of that, that's fine. But we need to have that base. We need more of that
Right,
because, like you said, okay, let's say World War III happened. Boom. Okay, they
right.
dropped the bomb. Now we got to start
Start
over.
over.
Who
Right,
who 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 are all the farmers?
right.
Who are
What
all
who
the ag people?
right,
So
right.
now we right back to the 1800s because we depended on them to help us survive.
Right. Yep.
And I know we have some black farmers out there, agricultural people. I'm not saying that we don't, but we need more. It needs to be normal. That need to be standard practice. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff.
Yeah, we can't all depend on just being
Construction,
like you said. We can't.
mechanics.
Yeah, we can't all be no rapper, brother. We can't be no
We
damn
can't.
rapper. Let World War III happen. They drop that bomb on us, whatever, man. What rapping gonna do? The rapper gonna get you fed? You know
Lil
what I mean? The
Uzi, Lil Uzi Vert, come save us.
rapper. Yeah, man. Right on, man. So yeah, that ain't gonna help you at all, man. That's not gonna help you, not even a little bit. So but having a trade, man, is very important to have a trade. Get that trade, man. They can't take it from you. You can always when they had that hit that we happen to get to that ultimate grand finale with that reset, and something was to happen, man. You got a trade to fall back on, and that's always good. You can't nobody take that from you. But you know what, man? I know we kind of got off subject there, or whatever, man. But that was a good conversation there, man. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the subject about interracial relationships. So let's talk
Ooh,
about it.
we man.
about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I wanna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yes, indeed. So you definitely see what we're talking about here. We having a discussion about why are we seeing more interracial marriages, relationships versus black marriages and relationships in our communities. And the reason why we thought that this would be a great conversation, great thing on top of whatever, man, because we want to definitely try to give you guys our opinions and our thoughts and opinions about this particular subject. Because if you look on social media, you watch your TV, you are seeing trending. It's trending with you see more interrelational marriages or interrelation relationships, these commercials, and you really don't really see a whole lot of black marriages, black families together. You just don't see it on social media or on the news, on these commercials, whatever, man. So it's definitely a narrative that they pushing out there. So B Dub, and I know you definitely been watching as well. You up on speed on it, whatever, man. When it comes to these black marriages and black relationships and things like that, whatever, why are we seeing a number of single people, when it comes in our communities? And we're gonna talk about the interracial part, on the back end of this, whatever. But for right now, there's a lot of black men and black women that are single, and you know there's something that's spearheading this, that's leading all this, whatever. What do you think that the problem is when it comes to you know a lot of black men and black women being single?
Um, I look at it like this. It's like in the '60s, the mid '60s. You know, black women was given a ultimatum. Well, I'll say this first, before that even happened. The government and big business cooperated together because for those that don't know, back in the days, most of the industrial jobs, manufacturing, warehousing, things like that, were in the city. Which is why now you look at places like Detroit and you see where it's all run down. You see all these just empty, abandoned warehouses. Those used to be businesses. That's where all the businesses were, and it's like that across the nation and in cities across the nation, right? But the government colluded with big business and incentivized them to start moving their companies out of the inner city because black people had opportunities. That's where a lot of people worked and made reasonably good money, took care of their families. But now you take all the job opportunities away, not to mention all the black men that went and served in the war and the vets that came back, all the vets, black, white, or other, came back and was on hard times. But now you're coming back to no jobs. So it's tight, it's hard. So now you come in and you go to black women and say, hey, listen, we got you. We'll take care of you. We'll give you these little stipends on the 1st and 15th, and you can go get food for your babies. Y'all can be okay. Just one thing though, just one little thing. Can't be married. Can't have no man in the house. Now we know women by nature. The most beautiful part of women is their ability to nurture. Men we're a little more compartmentalized, but women, they nurture, they love. That's what they do, especially the offspring. So if I got a choice between feeding and providing for my child or being with this man, I love this man, but that's not even a decision for a lot of women. It wasn't even a decision. So that's the start of it. That's the 60s and the 70s. But it didn't last forever. We still see remnants of it. Everybody probably know at least one chick who's on government assistance. Her mama was on government assistance. Her grandma was on government assistance. It's a cycle. So that's still there. But at a certain point in the 80s and 90s, it started to go away. Because black love started to grow again. We started to see it. And plus, opportunities were different. More black men were going into business and jobs and stuff. So it started to get better, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, now that's not working anymore because now I'm looking at it for what I'm getting with this welfare check. I can only be here. I can only go so far. Shit, I'd rather go work and find me a man and work. Our two incomes together will be good. We'll be better than just me being on this welfare check. So you started to see that rise again. So now we come with something different. Now we make these laws and these policies or whatever under the guise of, affirmative action and all this kind of stuff. But the reality is, if you go back and look at the numbers, black women were benefiting from that far beyond black men. Black women were getting accepted into colleges more. Like, people think everybody can just go to college. Everybody can't go to college because colleges only accept a certain amount of people. But if I'm accepting 30 or 300 new black female students, but I'm only accepting 50 black male students, that eventually that's gonna become a difference there. So now what do you hear black women saying a lot? They'd like to say that black women are the most, well, they say most educated. Technically that's not true, but they are the most enrolled. Black women are definitely the most enrolled demographic in college right now. And it's been leading up that way for some time now, right? So what does that mean? That means black women get more opportunities, more job opportunities, earn a little bit better money. So now I can earn by myself. I can earn more than what I'm gonna get from welfare, and I can earn enough to where I don't really need your money either. I can do it by myself, and we push this on everybody. We push this do it alone. It's always, you gotta grind by yourself. You gotta do it on your own. Nobody help. get it, whatever. It's false. It's foolery. You know, everything works better with a team. I don't care what it is. Everything works better with a team. Like Dave Chappelle would say, you may be able to move that sofa by yourself, but you can do it much easier with another person,
Right,
right?
right, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but if we've gotten into this mindset, or at least our women have gotten to this mindset of it's all about the money. Like men literally have been reduced to a dollar sign. So it makes sense. I don't fault them for it. It's logical. If
Yeah,
that's your sight on it. If you're looking at it as the only thing you can do for me is financially provide, but if I can already financially provide for myself, then you are now useless to me.
right. And like
Can't
you
you
said,
can't hate on that.
right,
It's
right,
it's I don't, it's hard to say wrong because people do whatever they want to do. So I can't necessarily say it's wrong, but it's not the best option. And I think a lot of women are not realizing that it's not the best option. Yes, it is an option, but it's not the best option because no matter what, it's always better to have two. And beyond that, when we talk about kids, now we throw kids into the equation, a man is way more important to his children beyond the dollar amount. There's so much more that comes with having a husband, having a solid father figure for your kids than just a dollar. But right now, we're not seeing it that way because society and social media and everything is telling us everything is about a bag, a bag, bag, bag. You got to get the bag, got to get the bag, got to make your own money or whatever. To the point where you even have people thinking that it's a flex to say, I pay all my own bills and do that, this and that. I'm like, okay, cool, you're an adult. Congratulations. Any
right,
any single adult is supposed to pay their own bills. Like
right.
I don't. That's crazy to me. Like, who's gonna pay your bills? You're an adult and you're single. Why wouldn't you pay all your own bills? But we think that's a flex. So
Right. Right.
that's my long-winded explanation of that.
But hey, B Dub, but you know what, bro? I'm gonna keep it on that same wavelength, man. When you brought up slavery, and how important it was, how everything has basically, been we've been mentally damaged because of slavery or whatever, man. Um, I also want to bring up the fact, this is right along the slavery discussion here or whatever, man. There was a movie that what's the name of the guy? What's his name of the guy from Mississippi? I think his name Joe Budden. What I forget it. Whatever guy's name is.
Talking about
Whatever.
David Banner.
David Banner. Yeah, David Banner. He played in that slavery movie to where you remember where he was in the field working with his child, and the overseer was in front of his kid, told us he was there with his wife and kid there or whatever, right? And the overseer tells his wife, "Go inside the house. I need to talk to you." Well, the little boy was like letting David know, like, "Hey man, this ain't cool. Well, what's up with this?" So the wife goes inside the shack with the overseer, and you hear the furniture and everything moving around. She was basically in there getting taken advantage of. The little boy heard it, everything that was going on, and asked, the daddy, "Well, what are you gonna do?" So the David's character was like, "Hey, look, let me take care of this. I got this." So the overseer, he comes out and he's putting his clothes, get himself together or whatever. The only thing that David said was he looked at that man and said, "Why you do that?" And the dude blew his brains out right there in front of his child or whatnot because he had spoke up about what was going on with his wife. But what I'm getting around to is this. See, that has been the ultimate design of how, you know, those that can probably be a component to why women today feel a certain kind of way when they pretty much better off being by themselves versus having a man, because during slavery time, whatever, man, a man basically couldn't even speak up for his old lady during that particular time because he was more trying to survive and actually trying to be able to live to see another day or whatever. But at that time, when a woman needed that man the most,
Mm-hmm.
her mentality is like, look, you didn't even step up to me. You didn't even step up for me. You didn't even fight for me when master's coming in taking advantage of me all the time. You ain't doing nothing about it or whatever. So, that's what they did to the women at that particular time during that particular stages or whatever, to the point to where, I still believe that we have some residual and we still have some, some lingering effects on how they treated our women during that particular time during slavery all the way up to now. Because a lot of our women like, look, if you can't protect me, you ain't making no money. You're not protecting me. You can't, you've been noodled to provide for us or whatever. Then what good are you? What good are you? You know?
Yeah.
And go ahead, B Dub. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you, but I just thought this in there real quick, and then we would get EQ in here. I see you down there. What's up,
Yeah,
E?
what's up, EQ?
I looked out for you. I hit the tagline at the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
beginning
yeah,
of the
yeah. Go ahead,
show.
EQ. Yo, go ahead. Go ahead, B Dub.
But yeah, because we hear black women say that a lot. Like black men need to do better standing up for black women. So I get where you're going with that, and I agree. And like you say, it's all by design because I think too,
It is
you
about this time.
know, our women forget what we have to deal with because that's kind of stuff we have to deal with.
Right.
Like you see a Sandra Bland situation, and you see that here and there, but by and large, we black men, it's like literally just walking out the door is like playing Russian roulette. So especially when it comes to situations of authority and stuff like that, because we selling cigarettes, pulling out your wallet, doing not a damn thing at all,
Right.
minding your business, knocking on the wrong door. Like it's so much, that happens out there for us that I think our women forget sometimes what we go through. And part of that too is because just as men, period, take race out of it, just as men, period, we're supposed to just deal with it. We're supposed to be tough. We're supposed to man up. We're not supposed to complain about what we're going through and stuff like that. So it's easy to see where the disconnect is coming in because there's a lack of understanding on both sides. Going back to the point I made earlier, I think a lot of men are not understanding the
Women.
woman side of it.
Right. I
Like
agree.
if you think about it logically,
I
like what I
agree.
said, it makes sense.
Yeah, psychologically, B Dub, we are the black man and the black woman have been damaged, brother. We've been damaged, but sometimes I ain't gonna say sometimes, but a lot of times, whatever, like we're both pointing fingers at each other on what each other's shortcomings are. At the same time,
Right.
that's how everything was designed to be for you to point fingers at each other. But we can't sit around and be pointing fingers at each other no more, whatever, because we gotta the man and the woman have to understand that this is a problem that this is what they ultimately wanted us to be able to do from the get-go, to point fingers at each other, and we should be doing that. I've been seeing a lot of fighting, in-house fighting about trying to point fingers at each other about whose shortcomings and so on and so forth or whatever. At the end of the day, it's not going to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
EQ, what you think about that, EQ?
Well, that's why we have to sit down and have conversations and try to understand each other.
Right.
And like Bougie Samuel said, oh, this name change. Oh my God, Bougie Samuel. Like he
Bougie
said,
Samuel.
this is all by design. And just because it's by design, that doesn't mean we have to stay there. And what we have to do is start valuing each other, valuing the historical institution of family, and where we have to value our men. And sometimes valuing them means valuing them right where they are. That brother may be trying to get back up on his feet. Like I told y'all last night, I didn't realize what brothers really go through on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not just saying just black brothers, but brothers period. But as sisters, we gotta get out of this. Oh, well, I don't need a man. Yes, you do, sis. You needed him to make them kids. You needed him for that child support. I mean, let's just be honest. You needed him when he was on the up and up, when he was doing good, but he hit a patch in life. And society has already kicked him down. The system has already kicked him down, and then you kick him down. So how is he supposed to get back up? He's weakened. He's broken. He's psychologically messed up. He's emotionally and physically messed up. We got to stop that. Stop letting a system create a narrative for us. Because guess what? You got a black daddy, whether he was a good daddy or not. hey, you wouldn't even be in existence if it wasn't for him. You weren't. And here we are, we had a history of ancestors who who valued family, who valued the man. The man had to get out, even if it was out in the cotton fields, or being a bootlegger or whatever it was, to provide for his family. They did that. And we got to stop saying that we don't need men. Yes, we do. Because, sis, you need somebody to help you raise them kids. It takes a balanced household
It does.
to shape and mold children. A lot of our kids are out here living recklessly because there's been no guidance, there's been no discipline, there's been no structure. We have to learn to get back in our rightful places as women. I don't care what society tell you. Society create the men. They created the narrative that they wanted for men. They created the lifestyle they wanted for the brothers. And that was the goal, by, like B Dub said, by design, is to separate the man from the family, put drugs in the neighborhoods or whatever, create a system that's not equally for him, and divide the family to make the woman dependent upon a system, throw you a few dollars, a place to stay, some food stamps, and call that life. That's not life. That's called oppression. Then we get these celebrities on TV who are all made up and scripted, trying to tell you and dictate to you how to live, how to be, how to treat a man. No. Now what we've done is taken on the narrative of what was wrong is now right, and what's right is wrong now. No. We got to get back to valuing our men like Big Mama and them did. Big Mama
Right.
knew Big Mama knew Papa had a woman across town, and I'm not telling women to go out there and find you a man that's going to cheat on you. But at the end of the day, you can't stop that from happening anyway. But the thing of it is, they kept the family structure together. They kept it together. But we don't see the importance and the value of marriage and what it does. There's benefits to being married. I don't If you make $70,000 and he make 50, y'all take that 120 combined and work it. Make some adjustments. Make fine tune some spaces here. That's why it's called marriage. It's a collaborative effort. It's treated like an ongoing construction project. You got to constantly build, adjust, change, start over sometimes. Add to, take away from. That's what it is. That's the nature of any relationship. Any healthy relationship, you have to nurture it. But we got to, because our young brothers, they need to see that. But if they hear you saying that they don't need a man, think about what you're programming in their head, in your daughter's heads. Then they take on that mindset of mama, saying they don't need a man, and then now they go out there dogging men and then turn into women. Well, guess what? That's what the enemy wants. Because, hey, if I can get your sons to turn to another man or your daughters to turn to another woman, then guess what? That destroys the institution of family. That destroys the institution of marriage. We got to stop falling prey to these systems that don't give a flying flip about us. Sis, we got to get back in our rightful place. And we got to uplift and encourage our brothers. We do.
And
And I'm
guess
not
what?
saying, yeah, we got to. I'm not saying, our brothers ain't criminals. Our brothers ain't bad. Sis, I don't care if he do work on a trash truck. So what? Get in the kitchen and bake some pound cakes and go sell them. So what? It's money to be made. Help him out. Don't nag him. Come
EQ,
on.
we got too much pride for
You know
that.
how much
EQ, we got
trash
too much
men make
pride.
in
We got too
certain
much pride for
cities?
that. We ain't gonna, we how we
See,
are. We
that's
ain't
the
gonna go out
problem
there
we
without.
don't want to do. We don't want to swallow pride as women, and we don't want to be submissive. And that's where the problem is. And then sometimes as women, we don't want to admit that we have insecurity issues. We don't want to admit we have trust issues. We have to admit, we don't want to admit that, we don't want to submit to the authority of a man, especially if we've never had our dads around. And then we make all these excuses and quit having these unrealistic expectations of men. Especially if he's not your husband. He's not supposed to pay your bills. He's not supposed to take care
Right.
of your kids. Anything a man do for you that is not your husband, that's a bonus. So we gotta stop that. That all I want a man is for money. If all you want a man is for money, you're not gonna enjoy him. All you're gonna get is money. Then what happens when the money plays out?
Right,
Time
right,
wasted, and you can't get
right.
that time back.
Right. And I believe that's probably, and that's one of the things, that's the reason why you see a lot of men and women single or whatever, because it's already been placed a tag on each one of them. A woman, a man that's single looking for a woman, he might not really want to deal with the woman, because a woman is after something. He had these false expectations of him, like B Dub said. That's a dollar amount that person is looking for. And that man is thinking like, man, this woman only want to deal with me, or don't want to deal with me because I do or don't have something I can provide for her, which is money. And then a woman is on her end, she's looking, yeah, and the woman is looking at that man for something totally different or whatever, man. Like, she have her false expectations as well. So it's an own back and forth thing with each other, with different sexes when it comes to us. And at the end of the day, whatever, man, I just think that our people, we're suffering big time because of it. We're suffering, man.
We are.
And go ahead, Q. Go ahead.
I also want to kill this narrative, brothers. Just because a sister's educated, that don't mean she don't want you. Some of us went to school to try to educate ourselves or do better because of what we saw our moms or our grandmothers go through, or because we have children and we want the best for our children. Some of us are not high maintenance, bougie, and all of those things you try to use to label and describe us as. Hey, so if any single brothers out there looking and watching this show, I mean, I'm single too, but and we can
Ah,
work together. Even if you work on the trash truck, hey, I can make it work because I know how to manage money. And so, but no, but anyway, but I just need our brothers to know that too. All of us don't look down on y'all. All of us are not bashing y'all, because one thing I do, I love my white brothers. Don't get me wrong, but I love my brothers, and I just wish sisters would see it through the lens that I see it from. And our brothers are not our enemies, and our brothers have to stop as enemies, as ignorant, because we have to also understand all of us weren't afforded the same opportunities. All of us didn't have the same upbringing and childhoods that you might have had. So all of those factors come into play. But we
right.
got to stop seeing each other as the enemy, because
We
I
do.
guarantee you, what's that song by Neo? I'm a force all by myself, but I'm a movement when we're together. And we
Mm,
have to have that type of mindset. Just
yep.
think if brothers and sisters collaborated more and valued each other and appreciated each other and uplifted and encouraged each other. That's why the enemy hate us, because he know the power of our unity, the power of our strength, the power of our creativity, the power of the wisdom and the knowledge that we possess. Come on, chosen people, where are we?
Right.
Mm.
Only
See,
time Hey, the only time I've ever seen Black Love and Unity is at a Franklin Beverly Mays concert. Everybody wearing all white and boom, boom, boom.
I'm a laid back
That's
kind of guy in a
yeah,
laid back kind
yeah,
of
man.
world.
That's the
But
only time I've seen it. That's the only
yeah,
time I've
we
seen it,
gotta
man.
have
That's
that
when
family reunion type, where we
yeah,
happy to see each other, where we embrace each other and we love on each other and we lift each other up, and stop just thinking about self. Stop being selfish. We gotta
right,
stop being like that.
You
right.
know what we need to do?
What's up?
We need to put together a Burning Coals family reunion,
I
like
would
a festival. Put together like a little festival, and get some people together, get some food together, and have a good time and talk about it exactly that.
I would love to.
That's like a great idea. That'd be
We,
done for
we,
real.
we need to put our heads together and see if and how we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Hey, I
I
can call
mean, we
up
got
my
some we
big.
got some folks we got some folks back home would definitely be able to chip into something like that, man, to do that. That'll be
Hey,
a nice thing to
I'm
do.
here. If y'all want to do it here, if y'all want to go to Dallas, we come to Houston, meet in the middle. Let me know. Hey, because y'all know I live for stuff like this. I love planning and coordinating stuff. These are conversations that, as a collective unit, we need to have. That would be
For
great.
sure.
That would definitely be great.
And one thing too, real quick, I wanna go back a little bit to what EQ said. You was talking about the mothers and the examples they put in front of their daughters. And I tell people this all the time, particularly whenever I'm having conversations with women, with mothers. Like, you gotta look at the sons too.
Yeah.
Because think about a little boy growing up in a household and hearing your mother, all she ever talk about is men ain't this, men ain't that, men ain't no good for nothing. All they do is this and all this and that, and I don't need a man, I don't need a man. Think about how that makes your son feel,
Right. Right.
because he's a man. He knows that eventually he's gonna grow up and be a man. So does that mean I ain't worth nothing? I ain't ish.
Hmm.
And I think that, also leads to, again, like you were saying, to a lot of these young boys being confused about their identity and stuff like that, because it all comes into play, because children are learning, they're constantly evolving and growing, so what you put into them is
That's right.
very important. And people like to say, oh no, you can't make this make that's not true. Kids are influential,
That's
or
right.
easily influenced,
Hmm.
you know.
Right.
So I think it do play a part. I think it do play a role, amongst other things too. I think a lot of it has to do with the food too. And I had talked to this lady. She's like a herbalist or whatever, and she was breaking it down, and it made a lot of sense. And she was talking about even down to the baby food, like the Similac, the hormones and stuff that it has in it. It can throw your hormonal balance off, and then your body's gonna automatically respond. So, like, say for little boys, if it can create more estrogen than testosterone, basically.
Yeah.
And even in little girls, it's the same. But then your body starts responding to that. It starts trying to produce more testosterone,
Yeah.
which can lead to, number one, a lot of these little girls acting more mannish, more boyish, and possibly thinking that this is what I'm supposed to be, and also anger problems with little boys, because if you're a testosterone, that's what drives a lot of our emotion and our muscle mass and all this kind of stuff. So if you have little boys with testosterone levels higher than they're supposed to be at that age level, it can cause over aggression. Now you have behavioral problems. Now that's the perfect open door for the school. Say, oh, special classes, and
Right.
then now you setting them up for a bad road in life.
Right. So
And
stay
then
away from stay,
sometimes your body don't react, and so you just end up with a little boy that has too much estrogen in his body. So then
Right.
it goes that way. So
Right.
I can't remember exactly how she was saying it, but she had some facts and some science behind it, and it made a lot of sense too. So I think in addition with that, and how we just treating our kids and exposure to a lot of stuff is having an effect on that. I know it's kind of a little bit off subject, but
yeah,
I
so
just had
stay
thought of that
stay
too.
away from the manager special. Yeah, we got that. They got that steak. You got a steak, a potato, and a Bud Light in a package. Manager special. Better stay away from that.
Oh, 99.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$2.99 or whatever for the whole meal. So stay away from it. But hey, you guys, we appreciate you guys for joining. We go live here every Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, here right here on the Burning Coals podcast. So we have these different subjects. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell as well. We do this every Tuesday. We have this fire content. All right. So the next question we got. So since we talked about that one, the next one we have is this. The second part of it is, why are we seeing more interracial marriages? It seems like they're advertising interracial marriages on the news, on commercials. You see it, a whole lot of it on social media. We see. I've seen more interracial marriages that they're putting out there versus having black marriages or black relationships or whatever. How did you guys first feel about interracial relationship or interracial marriages? You guys have an issue with that? A problem with it?
Go ahead, EQ.
EQ?
To be totally honest with you, no, I do not have a problem with it, and it's just like it goes back to what I was saying last night in our meeting. As long as brothers don't feel, or sisters feel, that they're uh, white, Hispanic, or whatever race they decide to marry in, don't feel like they are superior to our black men and women. Because men gonna be men, women gonna be women. Doesn't matter what color they are. Nobody's perfect, whatever. But sometimes I think some brothers think that when they marry white women, they're marrying up. But at the end of the day, a woman gonna be a woman regardless. And as long as you don't forget that you came from a black mama and you have black experiences and you see life through a black lens, then as long as you don't forget that, then I'm and then look down on black women when you marry out of your race. As long as that doesn't happen, I'm cool with it. I mean, everybody has their preferences. Everybody fall in love differently and fall in love with different people for whatever reasons, and that's their prerogative. But just don't look down on sisters because you chose to marry a white woman. If you see a sister coming in the store behind you and your white wife, open the door for that sister too. I mean,
Right.
don't just look down. And same thing with sisters. If you marry a man of another race, hey, cool, but don't look down on brothers. Don't forget where you come from as well, and it's
Right.
okay. Like I said, everybody has their preference, um, and so I personally don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it neither at all. You love who you love, and you can't control who you love. Um, but I have seen the negative parts. In a interracial relationship. I'm talking about from a black family looking at an interracial relationship, and from a white family looking, white and a white family looking at an interracial relationship. I've seen both spectrum of it, and uh, it's hurtful to see that people still have that type of belief and how they feel about that. Uh, but I can say this, uh, without when I saw it and when I noticed that from seeing it with my own eyes, it was very out. It wasn't hidden from both sides, from the black family and the white family either. They let it be known right there from the get go. We're not happy with it at all. So when I saw this with my own eyes, it was very uncomfortable because I know both families very well. All right, it's very uncomfortable, and I put myself in the interrelationship people that was with each other. I put myself in their shoes because I'm sure if I seen that from both different families or whatever, and how uncomfortable I was with it, I can only imagine what they go through, with them being involved in this marriage or relationship with each other or whatever. Man, I'm pretty sure that they pretty much they see something like that on a regular basis all the time or whatever. So with me personally, like I said earlier, I don't have no issue with it at all. But I have seen how people view it and see it when you're involved in a racial relationship. I've seen the negative parts of it, and it wasn't nothing appealing about it at all. And I really felt embarrassed and ashamed. It's almost like I was the person that was involved in the relationship.
Yeah.
When I actually saw this happen. B Dub, how you feel about it?
Well, just responding to what you just said, I think a lot of it just has to do with pride and ignorance. We don't have a lot of conversations. There's a lot of conversations that we need to have within the community, but like I've said before, we need to get outside the community as well. Like we don't, and the same goes for everybody. You know, because there's in 2023, a lot of people don't want to believe it, but in 2023, if you talk to some white people, there are literally white people that will be well into their 20s before they have their first face-to-face interaction with a black person. And and sometimes that goes vice versa because we in the hood, it's just us in the hood, and you don't, so we have to find ways to get outside of the community and have conversations because, and I say that because it is. Why did those people feel that way? Why did that black family feel some type of way towards their family member being with a white person? I guarantee you, whatever answer they give you is going to be somewhere tied to slavery and
Most
how
definitely,
white
that's
people treated
exactly
them.
what it was all about. Oh yeah, most definitely.
And if you
Yep.
talk to those white people and ask them why do they feel some type of way about their white family member with a black person, 9 times out of 10 it's going to have something to do with class and money because of the stereotype that they have of black people because of what they see on TV. Everybody wants their child to marry the big. Everybody wants their child to marry up, which is impossible because when you marry, somebody's got to be here, somebody's got to be there. You can be close, but it's never going to be exactly equal. But everybody wants their child to marry up. So you know, if I feel a certain type of way about a certain demographic based on what I see in my own ignorance, not knowing, and then my child say, "Oh, I'm gonna marry somebody from that culture," I might feel a type of way too if I don't know nothing about it. See what I'm saying? So it's all based off ignorance because them people they love each other, and I'm sure they probably good people, and their family might be good people, but it's just that ignorant mindset. And when I say ignorant, I just mean lack of knowledge, about other cultures that makes them feel a certain type of way.
So why
Because
do so let me ask you this, B Dub. So why do you what makes you feel why do black men or black women why do we marry outside of our race? Why do we marry outside of race? B
well, that's
Dub.
that's a that's a hard question to answer because that you have to ask every single individual person that question. But to answer your actual question, no, I don't have a problem with interracial marriages. For me myself, I think it's just how you grow up. Because like I said in the pre-show meeting, I dated outside. I've dated almost the globe, white, Asian, featherhead, Indian. Never had a dot head, but did have featherhead. So but in my dreams, in my imagination, whenever I thought about marriage as a child or growing up, it was always a black woman. Despite what I saw and what I might think is attractive, like you see Becky, like that Becky got a little something on her, for a white girl. But I'm not marrying Becky. I'll date her. She's a good person. Date her, we have fun, whatever. But I'm not marrying Becky. For me, it was always a black woman. So I can't answer that question or why somebody else would go outside the race. I can say this though, because this is always a hot topic with athletes. Why do athletes, particularly black male athletes, marry outside? Now that I do think I have somewhat of an answer for, because that's all about proximity. Because you got to think about it. These kids go to these Power 5 private white institutions, and athletes don't have a lot of time, despite what people might think. They have very limited time, and the better you are as an athlete, the less time you have, because the coaches always want you training, practicing, doing something. So it's more about proximity. Because if I'm at a school and the whole football team, it's 60 guys on the football team that's black, but there's only 15 black girls that go to this school, 45 of us gonna have to figure out something. So you end up dating, and love is love. You meet somebody and they treat you a certain type of way, and you start feeling them type of emotions. It just is what it is. So I think for specifically for athletes, I think that plays a lot into it. But just in general, why people date outside their race or why black people date outside their race, I don't know.
Well,
Because
I can tell
that's
you
never been my thought.
I can tell you
To
what I've
marry,
been
I'm
hearing.
talking about marry.
Yeah, I can tell you from what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing, the reason why a lot of black men decide to deal with black women is because they feel, and I've heard this before, they feel that a white woman is easy to be submissive to. A
No,
white
those are
woman can be
idiots.
more.
Let me tell you, those dudes that say stuff like that, those are the dudes that never found their confidence. They was whack in school,
I agree. I agree.
and
I agree.
that's all that is.
That's what they say. They say, well, black women are, they have an attitude. Black women are more aggressive. Black women, everything about the black woman, they have pretty much put that one black woman into a negative stereotype that the world has pretty much put the woman in anyway, whatever. But then my question is to them is this: so if you're saying this about black women, was your mother like that? Because you got a black mother. Because
Right.
you have black, you have, to me, you look like you are full black. Is your black mother like that? And they say no. So why did you put a black woman into that category that you put her in, as far as like having attitude and always mad
First
and
of
not
all,
submissive and all this other stuff like that? It's like a cop out
unless
to
you
me,
dated every single black woman on the planet, you can't. That's a false statement. Period.
Right.
We generalize. We do that. We generalize sometimes, but when people get real strict and aggressive on their thoughts like that, and you want to put it on a whole freaking demographic, no, that's just and and the thing about it is, we call there's just Karen. We call white women Karens. That's like the meme name for a specific type of white woman for a reason. What is that woman? Aggressive, angry,
Right. Yeah.
privileged.
Yeah.
So how can you say these things about black women? Now, I would agree that in this current time, I think black women are under a lot more stress for some of the reasons we talked about. Being bamboozled and thinking that you don't need a man and you can do it by yourself. It's hard by yourself, especially when you got kids and the courts. And see, this goes back into the court system too as well. They purposely put the kids with the mothers because men are better equipped for single life than women are. Whether you like it or not, agree, disagree, it just is what it is. So if you force the kids to go with the mother, now she it just makes it that much more stressful. So of course, black women are a little more stressed, so they might be a little more aggressive, a little more angry. Now, the thing that I try to get across is you have to recognize that. This is where I think that some of our sisters are lacking is they're not willing to take that accountability and see it. You just want to say, no, that's not it, that's not it. Like, yeah, it is it, but we understand there's a reason for it. Then you have to kind of internalize that first so that you can better control it. I understand why you're angry. I understand why you're aggressive, and you have every right to be. But
Man.
at the same time, if I'm a single man, I'm trying to date you. I didn't make you that way.
It
So
don't
I
bother
don't
me.
want to, I don't want you throwing all that on me. I can help you
Listen,
work through it if you, but you have to do the work, and then I'll help you work through it. You can't just throw all that at me and think that I'm just gonna, just deal with it or whatever. So I think that's where the conflict is coming in.
I love a strong woman. I love a woman that's going to, tell me, if I'm doing something that, if I'm not holding up my end, or if I'm lacking somewhere, but long as she's not belittling me or nothing like that, whatever, man. But black women gonna hold a black men accountable. A lot of these
For
black
sure,
men that's
rightfully
like you said,
so.
a lot of these black men that said this, B Dub, that had this kind of mindset. Be honest with you, a lot of black women don't even want to deal with that kind of man anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
A lot of black women want a man that's going to be, have a semblance of being strong and being a provider. He's a protector. That, so black men like that that's walking around saying that type of stuff like that, whatever, man. Half of the system won't even look at that type of man in the get go anyway. Some feminine
Most
type
of the
of man.
men that say that, if you put them side by side, all of these men that say this, there's gonna be a lot of similarities. Put it like that. There's gonna be a lot of
Right,
similarities, far as they mentality, attitude, and looks. Let's just be real about it.
right.
So yeah, I don't pay them no mind. And same with the women that say that, like, oh, white men put black women on a pedestal. No, they don't. No, they really don't. They really don't. It's just that, again, if you being trained to think a certain way, so our women start to look at us the same way they look at us, and vice versa. Sometimes we look at our women the same way because that's what other cultures think. They think black women just ratchet. All black women just ratchet, ghetto, loud, and angry, and this and that, or whatever, which is false. But again, it's true to a certain degree, but there's a reason for it. It's not just, oh, this is just how they are. No, we've been put in a situation that has brought us to this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, that's like EQ was saying. Whatever everybody got preferences. Whatever your preference is, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
You know. And I think relationships like that don't last anyway. Those dudes, 9 times out of 10, those dudes get taken advantage of. Cause if you go into something, if that's your reason for marriage or loving somebody is based off those type of principles, you just setting yourself up to be taken advantage of. Cause I guarantee the other person don't love you, because if a woman, if I was single and a white woman came to me and was trying to pursue me and date or whatever, okay, cool. And she was like, yeah, because I only date black dudes, because white men, they this and that and that and that and that. So that's why I date black dudes. Ah, no, it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's my skin color. So you date any black dude. So that means you'll do anything. You'll cheat, you or whatever. Like I wouldn't even get involved with a person who would say something like that.
Yeah.
So you have to think that any woman that's okay with her man, regardless of culture. If you're okay with your man saying stuff like that, she's either just as delusional as he is, or she taking advantage of him.
Yeah, a lot of those men they don't live in the they live in a fantasy world. So you can talk to them till you're blue in the face, but their minds are made up on why they feel the way they feel. And to be honest with you, they a lot of them feel that way, whatever, because they are very very insecure within themselves, whatever. And like I told you earlier, a lot of black women won't even deal with a man that's an insecure man like that from the get go anyway. And they probably had some bad run-ins with a bunch of black sisters and black women, and now they all they feel some kind of way about it. And they want to try to talk down on them, whatever, because they don't struck out a few times, whatever. So now they want to go and talk bad about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That's what that's
say
all
this.
about,
It probably ain't right.
huh?
I'm gonna say this, and it probably ain't right. We might have to get G-Man to just record that disclaimer, so we just pop it up.
The
But
views abuse
this
you widows.
this is my opinion. This is my opinion. You can tell when it's real and when it's some foolery, because most black men that you see, that I see, when you see black men that are with average to above average looking white women, it's probably just it's a thing, it's love. Cause I promise you, 90% of the time when you see them dudes talking about, oh, black women this, black women that, then you see the white woman that they got.
Trash.
Oh my goodness,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it.
man, B Dub, you right,
Like
man.
Trash.
Oh
what
man,
dumpster did you pull her out of? Like,
Help them,
like you say,
Jesus.
black women over here like appreciate you,
Thank
yeah,
thank
you.
you.
yeah.
Thank
But
you.
but, but here's the thing though, EQ. So when you see, because I've seen some bad sisters, they go and get with the white
Charlie.
guy. You be looking like,
I'm
how
about to
that
go get
happen?
me a Charlie. Do you hear me? No, I'm just
Yeah,
playing.
what?
I mean, if it happens, I'm open to it. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Yeah, but anyway, okay, say what you were saying. I'm sorry. Push play.
So why you see? But when the sister, you see a white guy, and I've seen with my own eyes. I've seen a white guy have the baddest sister in town. You be like, but when it come to black men,
How?
we go get the white guys be like, man, you can have her. We don't even want her. Whatever, you can have her, and we think we walk around like we done did something. Why is it like that?
It could be a number of factors. Let's just be honest with you, especially if it's a sister that's done come out the hood or whatever. She see dollar signs. I mean, she see credit and collateral. I'm
The
just being
bad sisters,
honest. The
the tough
bad
sisters.
sisters,
Yeah.
hey, she can be fine as all get out, but at
Ooh,
the end of the day, let's just tell the truth. Sis see color. I mean, she see collateral and cash, or credit and
Yeah,
collateral,
she see
whatever.
color all right. She see
She
green.
she see green. That's what she see. I'm just being honest with you, because 9 times out of 10, or in most cases they may be into each other, but at the end of the day, some sisters who are like that are looking for a way of escape, and that is the welcome mat to roll out on. And and I'm not saying sisters don't be falling in love with these Caucasian brothers, but 9 times out of 10, sis want some money.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you know what? Okay, if that's your thing, that's fine. And Dan, I don't have no
And
issue
some
with
people
that.
and some sisters want mixed kids. I mean, I've heard women
That's
say
the
that they
thing.
want mixed kids with the pretty hair, the pretty eyes, as if brothers can't give you. I have a beautiful daughter, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. And I think she's beautiful. Her hair doesn't need to be, silky straight or whatever. But to me, she's the most beautiful 17-year-old in the world. But
Yeah,
I see women doing that, and they think that marrying a white man will, I guess, keep them out of poverty or keep them at a certain status,
Hmm.
or help, it will give them a certain lifestyle, and typically it's one that they've never had before.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, y'all come from two different worlds. Y'all see things like, y'all see life, political views, religious views. Sometimes y'all see those things in two different lenses, with two different
right.
perspectives. But hey, at the end of the day, um marry who you fall in love with. But I'm about to give me a Charlie. If you brothers don't come on the step, what the step is at, baby? Because I'm about to give me a Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me
But see, I
stop.
don't have an issue. I
Hey,
don't
don't
have
be
an
sleeping
issue.
on Jose either though.
Yeah, right.
Ho-
I don't have no
Jose
issue.
got his own business.
I don't have no issue. You know, you date and love who you want to love, and you date who you want to date. But don't
Yeah,
talk down on your own race. You know, to try
that
Yeah.
to
is right.
try, to try to justify or try to to try to justify you dating outside your race. Whatever you date outside your race, because you want to date outside your race. That's your business. You see what I'm saying? No problem
Right.
with that at all. But when you start talking about, well, that person got an attitude or that person lazy and my people this and that or whatever. All right, what's gonna
Hmm.
happen? What's gonna happen? Like, what's the name of that woman, Stacey Dash? Yeah, remember Stacey
Mm.
Dash? See
Hmm.
what's going on with her? She want to try to come back to the cookout. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it because that can definitely roll over on you, and you can definitely get get what's coming to you, whatever. Because at one point she thought that she was,
Oh, you couldn't tell her she
you
wasn't
couldn't tell
white.
her she was a sister. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
I don't know if y'all have ever heard of these two little girls. They're twins. They're called the McClure twins.
I seen them. They
Very,
beautiful sisters.
very pretty
Beautiful
little
sisters.
girls. Yeah,
Yep.
I've been following them since they were like little babies, and their mom and dad have a beautiful story. I think she's African. I believe she's African or Jamaican or something, and how they met, and he fell in love with on the interview they did, he fell in love with how beautiful she was, how she carried herself, and this, that, and the other. So everybody's love story is different. And
Hmm.
and I think I'm trying to think where the little girls is. I don't think the little girls are his. I think he adopted them because I think she had them from a previous relationship. If I remember right, I think yeah he adopted them from a previous relationship that she had with somebody else. But man, they have a now that interracial couple they have a beautiful love story.
Yeah,
And I know everybody's story is not the same, but
yeah.
but
Those twins, they do like exercise, like physical exercise and stuff
they
like
do
that.
a lot of
Videos.
stuff. They do modeling. They do like they do a lot of stuff on Instagram. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
seen
and
them.
now they have a little brother because yeah they had a little brother. So they have like their own show or whatever. I think they're working on their own show. So yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah, I seen them
their
sisters.
love story was pretty cool, and they talked about overcoming the stereotypes, the racial profiling, even the
Hmm.
interracial relationship profiling and stuff like that, having to deal with his family who believes in you don't marry out of your race, where and then she's African or whatever, and then her culture and race believes that you marry within your race. I mean, they had a very unique story. But if y'all see me riding around with Charlie in a convertible, y'all mind y'all business because it's hard out here for them.
Go on, get your credit up, girl. Go on, get your
Yeah.
credit
Okay,
up.
come on, 700 Club. Yes. Yes.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
like you said, everybody, true love, and I think you can always tell when it's real love.
Hmm.
And but there's a reality to that though. Like EQ was saying earlier, whether it's true love or not, there's still some differences there. Like you can sympathize or you can empathize. You'll never be able to sympathize because you at the end of the day you come from different backgrounds.
Right.
Um, but it's one of those weird things because for particularly for black people because we have fought so hard and waited so long to just have our own, but at the same time it's like if everybody loved everybody, this eventually this wouldn't even be an issue because we'll all be the same damn color.
Right.
So it's like do you promote it? Do you not promote it? Like how does that work? Which I think is a lot of reason too why a lot of white people are in fear because the thing about it is one thing about us we come from where everybody come from, so everything is in us.
Yeah.
You know, um, you can have two people black as night that they child can come out looking like me
Right.
with blue eyes
Yep.
or
That
something. You can't get that from the other side.
Sure can.
White on white is only gonna give you white.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep.
But black on black can give you anything from midnight all the way up to
Albino.
albino. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
um,
Yep. You
but
absolutely right about
at
that.
the end of the day, man, I don't hate on nobody's relationship because I don't particularly care. Like I don't know how that's gonna come off to some people, but I care about my relationship
That's right.
with my woman. That's all I really care about. But we can talk about it, speculate, and have opinions about it. I think for the black people who want to be with black people need to find them a black person and work it out, figure it out. Let's do better with one another and to one another. But if your flavor is something else, then that is what it is. Now I do encourage, like I said last night, I do encourage people to date outside. I think, and that's the other thing too. Like we talked about last night. First of all, people need to start dating. Period, because dating has died. People need to start dating, and you should date outside your culture at least a few times because you learn stuff. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we become better human beings and more tolerant of one another and things like that. You have to know about what's going on in other cultures because when you get to talking to people, you will learn that we really are. It sounds cliche, but we really are 99% the same. It's that just that 1% of difference that causes so much hate and divide between cultures when at the end of the day we 99% the same.
No,
We all pretty much want the same stuff out of life.
now we hey, B Dub, I can't agree with you. We ain't the same now. Hey, in slavery, when you get hit with that whip, you ain't.
I'm talking about 2023, man.
No.
I'm talking about 2023.
Oh man, hey, we get hit with a mental whip now in 2022. Now hell, no, we ain't the same now.
But
No,
shit,
no,
hey,
no, no.
but the problem is we whipping ourselves.
That too, I
We
agree.
are
I agree. We are, but nah,
whipping
hell
ourselves,
no.
we're killing ourselves, we're fighting
Yeah.
ourselves. We're fighting the wrong enemy.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're fighting the wrong enemy. Brothers, we love y'all. This sister love y'all.
Sisters, we love
shade.
y'all too. We
love
love
y'all.
y'all. We love
We
you dearly.
appreciate
We
y'all.
love
We
you
need
dearly.
y'all. We need y'all.
Even if you're in an interracial relationship, we love you too. We don't have no beef with you, no qualms with you at all, whatever, man. But
Absolutely.
this topic tonight had to be discussed, and
Absolutely.
I think that we did a slam dunk on discussing or whatever, man. You guys got your final comments, so that way we can close this one out.
Love who you love and talk to people, man. Learn about other cultures. It'll enrich your life and it'll be good for the world.
You too?
If there's any single brothers out there looking to date, I'm open to dating. I ain't got a whole lot of money. I got a little bit. Now let me stop. Yeah, like we said tonight, like we discussed tonight. It's your prerogative. Your choice is your choice. We respect.
You on mute, EQ. You on mute. You on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go
Um,
ahead.
love who you love, like you said, like B-Dub said. You fall in love with who you fall in love. You have to pick and choose who's best for you, and then build from that. So yeah. But I don't have no problem with interracial relationships, and I'm glad we had this conversation today.
Right. And this is gonna give you burning cold, giving you a bag moment, just like EQ said, man. Love who you love. Black love is so beautiful. Even if you're in an interracial relationship or marriage, whatever, is beautiful as well. But you can't help who you love. And with that being said, now that you got the bag, what you gonna do with it? So that being said, we are the Burning Coast Podcast. We say thank you guys for joining the show. We are live here every Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. You already know what we do. I go by the name Mr. Know Our Reactions. We have our boy Bougie Weirdo right by the logo. Up under him, we got the First Lady Educated Queen. We also have Gentleman Jamal and B Love. And we say thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Burning Coals Podcast. We love you.